Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a review on the new NARS Light Reflecting Foundation. I was so excited when I heard that NARS was coming out with this foundation. I'm a big fan of NARS foundations. One of the first foundations actually I really got into was Sheer Glow, if you remember my blogging days. My favorite one to this point has been the Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. I also like the soft matte, but it's more of a mixer to me, so my preference for all the foundations prior to this one was the Natural Radiant. So I do have normal to slightly dehydrated skin. My skin is fairly normal at the moment, and I have 3 shades here from NARS to test out. They let me choose 3 in PR, which I thought was fabulous. I love that NARS Canada PR allows you to select out the 3 foundations you think that are gonna fit you best so that you know you'll probably get a pretty good match. So I have 3.5 Vanuatu, medium 4 Barcelona, and medium 5 Valencia here. They have 36 shades in total. Beautiful shade range right here. I fall in this category right here myself when I have a little bit of self-tan. They also released some powders as well. I'm just testing out the foundation today. The NARS Light Reflecting Foundation has 30 milliliters or 1 fluid ounce of product standard. For a foundation, it is $65 Canadian. There are 36 shades. It's a blend of makeup and skincare with 70% of the ingredients being skincare. It's supposed to blur imperfections, smooth the look of textured skin, helps conceal blemishes, dark spots, redness, visibly improves skin's clarity after 6 weeks of daily use, even after makeup is removed. The skincare ingredients defend against environmental aggressors and blue light, strengthen skin barrier, help maintain moisture. It's suitable for all skin types, including sensitive, medium buildable coverage, which you guys know is my preferred sort of coverage, natural finish, vegan formula, and their whole motto behind this product is it looks like skin, acts like skincare, feels light as air, which I think is great. Sounds amazing to me. I couldn't wait personally to test out this foundation for you guys, and this is probably the most requested foundation I've had to date. And I'm glad you guys are just as excited as me. It's gonna be a great everyday foundation if this holds up to the claims. I'd be curious to see, for those of you who do try this for 6 weeks, how that goes for you. So if you happen to do that and come across this video, let me know below if it did improve your skin. Typically my shade in NARS is 3.5 Vanuatu. And I do have that shade in the other foundation. So I'm gonna compare the swatches for you guys to check that out. This matches me most days, but I am going to swatch Barcelona and Valencia just in case you're in that sort of category and maybe one of them will happen to match me better today. Most days I am Vanuatu. This is a good match for me, and I did use it the other day and really like the color. It comes with a pump. It is glass, has a plastic cap. And I'm just gonna do some swatches on my face so that you guys can see the color. We have Vanuatu, Barcelona, and Valencia. And I could honestly make probably all of them work, but I am gonna go with Vanuatu for my shade just because I feel like that will best match my neck. I don't have perfect skin. You can definitely see how the coverage is gonna look like on my skin. We'll see what it covers, what it doesn't cover. I'm gonna start off with 1 light layer, and then it does say it's medium buildable, so I am going to build it up just to see how it looks. And as always, be sure you shake up this foundation prior to use, especially a skincare based foundation. You want to get all those ingredients mixed up. Truly just melts into the skin. I did wear this the other day. I couldn't wait to film with it. I wanted to get a little bit of my thoughts gathered prior to doing my videos. I typically like to do that and not just first impression unless it's a try new makeup. Apart from the 6-week test of it improving your skin, which obviously can't test right now, I feel like the claims are true. Has a nice buildable medium coverage, definitely a natural finish. It's nice and thin, sinks into the skin, feels lightweight on your skin. I do have to still set this foundation, I feel like, with a little bit of powder myself. But if you have really dry skin, I think you could probably get away with not setting it. So it has a beautiful finish. Just 1 light layer gives a decent amount of coverage. My skin looks nice and even. I would personally leave it like this for every day because I feel like it's just enough to still look like my skin. And I do feel like for those of you who've tried the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Foundation and felt maybe it was a little bit too dewy, that this might be a better option for you if you want that kind of skincare based foundation. I think more people would actually like this NARS one more than the Charlotte Tilbury, even though the Charlotte Tilbury did work out for me because I do have normal to slightly dehydrated skin and the dewiness really works for my type of skin. I feel like more skin types would definitely like this a little bit more. So definitely give it a try if you didn't like the Charlotte Tilbury. I think you'd actually really like this. My favorite thing about this is how blendable and seamless it looks like on the skin. I didn't have to do too much work to just get it to look flawless on my skin. So now I'm gonna build it up a second layer. And the formulation reminds me of even a thinner version of the L'Oreal Hyaluronic Acid one I really like. Not the serum, but the foundation. You can see another layer builds up beautifully, provides even more coverage. I'd even say this is a high medium coverage, not just a light medium. That is what 2 light layers of the foundation looks like built up on my skin. You can still see my pores and texture. Honestly, for me personally, powder always is the best for smoothing. This foundation on its own, it claims to have blurring and smoothness, but I think that will be more so for me personally with the skincare over time, making my skin just look better if I happen to use it. But my skin is just textured by nature, even with a regular skincare routine. I love that it specifically says it's suitable for sensitive skin because oftentimes I'm personally concerned about skincare in makeup because my skin is quite sensitive to skincare and I have to be really picky, but I haven't had any sort of issue using this since I tried it the first time. So this is what we are starting out with. I'm going to go off camera, quickly do the rest of my makeup, come back. I'll have everything linked below in case you're curious as to what I'm wearing on my face, and we will talk more about the foundation. I'm back. I just finished my face. I'll let you know everything that I used on my face down below in the description box in case you're curious. Everything plays beautifully with this foundation, honestly. I'm not wearing any sort of primer. I'm not using a setting spray. We're going to truly test out how long this foundation wears like on its own. I have used it previous and can attest that it does wear beautifully throughout the day, but I want to show you obviously in this video just how nicely it wears. Has the perfect amount of radiance for me. It's not to the point of being overly dewy like the Charlotte Tilbury can be. I think if you thought that was too dewy, you definitely like this a little bit more. Very lightweight on the skin. I do need to still set it when I have normal skin. When I have dry, I probably could honestly get away with not setting it, but I love the overall finish and effect this gives my skin. It's the perfect kind of formula for everyday wear. Has those skincare benefits in it. You can have it a little bit less coverage. You can build it up beautifully. It's not cakey in the slightest, glides on seamlessly as you could see in the footage. Just truly a beautiful blendable foundation that needs to hold up for it to be one that I personally go to. That's one of the key things for me. And this doesn't claim to be a long wear foundation, but as long as the foundation holds up throughout my day, I classify it as a good foundation. If it can keep from fading, caking up, all those bad things, the wear is truly where it comes into play for me. So I'm gonna check back in with you guys at the end of the day to just show you how beautifully this wears on my skin. So I will see you guys in several hours. Hey guys, I'm back. This is the end of the day check-in for me. This is how everything is wearing on my skin. Held up beautifully, honestly. Not too shiny. It looks glowy on me, but natural. It doesn't look oily at all. I could press my face with a puff. I could leave it as is for a little bit longer, honestly. It wears really nicely on my skin. It still feels like I'm wearing nothing on my skin. Like nothing on my skin. It may have oxidized slightly. I'm gonna look back at the footage and see. It's still pretty good match for me, honestly. My skin definitely has more of a glow to it as it wore. I would maybe press around my nose, but honestly, I could still probably let it go a little bit longer on my skin and it still would look decent. Normally around my chin, I can see a little bit of caking up and dryness potentially with foundations. I don't see any of that with this particular foundation. It still looks really nice. I don't see those typical issues I can have with certain foundation. It definitely has become one with my skin, I feel. I forgot to mention in the beginning across the foundation shades for Vanuatu that I do feel like there's a slight variation in the undertones of them because my perfect match is the Natural Radiant Longwear foundation. It has a little bit more red to it. I think this Vanuatu is slightly more olive. And again, this one compared to this one isn't as warm. I still would pick Vanuatu if I were to purchase, but I do feel like there's slight variation in the shades, even though NARS does recommend picking up your normal shade. They do look different to me. Also, NARS suggests using your fingers when you apply this foundation. I didn't feel like that was a deal breaker for me personally, as I have tested it out. I just used my trusty 101 foundation brush from BK Beauty and works perfectly with this foundation. So if there was a discrepancy, I would suggest doing how it suggests with your fingers. But if I can use a brush, I personally am, and I think it worked fantastically with a brush. All in all, a great everyday wear foundation. If you're looking for something lightweight, has a decent amount of coverage. Honestly, I was kind of shocked by how buildable this foundation truly is while still looking really natural on the skin. It builds up for pretty decent coverage, I would say, because there's not too much of my imperfections peeking through. Honestly, it's covered a lot. Let me know if you have tried this foundation, your thoughts. Do you think it looks good on my skin? I would love to know your thoughts if you're going to be picking this one up. I know it has a ton of hype right now, and I wanted to get my review up as soon as I could for you guys, and it's definitely one that I would get a sample of. If you can, pick it up if you really like what you see. I would 100% repurchase this again, and honestly, compared to this foundation, the long wear, it wears just as good, honestly, and it doesn't claim to be long wear. Plus, it's a little bit thinner, and I do like the radiance better and just how it looks like on my skin a little bit better, and this is beautiful. So if you're a fan of the natural radiant, you will love this, honestly, because I find them quite comparable, but this one just stepped it up a little bit more. I'm very happy with this addition to the NARS complexion lineup. I think it was what NARS was missing. I do love their tinted moisturizer too. I forgot to mention, though, those are named differently. This is a great step up from the tinted moisturizer, though I would be confident wearing this for glam days too, because that's the kind of coverage you can get with this, but it just looks natural. So all in all, it was a win in my book. It might have slightly oxidized on my skin, but I feel like it's still a really good match for my skin tone. And apart from the price being a little bit up there, which is comparable to other foundations on the market, that's the only drawback, but you do get that skincare benefit in it, which is truly a selling point for me, honestly. I much prefer to invest in my skincare separately from my makeup, but it's just an added bonus for me personally, just seeing that skincare element added to foundation. I think it just elevates it even more. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review, and I would love to know your thoughts on this foundation. If you've tried it, if you plan on picking it up, I would love to know in the comment section below. If you have not subscribed already, I would love for you to do so by hitting the red subscribe button, the bell if you want to be notified of all my future videos, and I will see you guys in my next one.